Anthropology or cannibalism occurs in many species, whether it be for mating, survival, or just the extra protein. But in modern humans, it's usually only used for survival in terrible situations like famine, or when people are isolated in inhospitable climates. There is evidence both archaeological and genetic that both humans and human precursors would eat their dead. And even today, people do a lot of smaller scale auto-cannibalism like eating fingernails or snot, sucking blood off a cut, or eating the placenta after birth. In Europe, human body parts were used in medication, even by priton royalty, and there is proof that in the 16th to 19th century, German executioners would run a side job of selling human body parts, so it's probably safe to eat. Of course, if you eat someone raw, then you'll get whatever bloodbourne diseases the person had, although these aren't very common, with one of the most common being HIV. But eating cooked humans is as dangerous as eating any cooked meat. As long as it's properly cooked, there shouldn't be any negative effects from eating. Even then, human meat comes in at roughly 1300 calories per kilogram, so it's probably not the best meat anyway. But if you eat the brain or spinal fluid, it's rare but possible that you can become fatally sick. Prion diseases are very rare and cause proteins in the brain to fold abnormally, which then spread, producing clumps of protein in the brain which cause brain damage. Prions are associated with a variety of neurodegenerative diseases, like Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease or mad cow disease, and they're always fatal. Common symptoms include rapidly developing dementia, confusion, extreme fatigue, and an inability to control muscles. KURU was a disease found amongst the cannibalistic Fore people of Papua New Guinea in the 1950s. Its name comes from the Fore language and means to shake. At its peak, 2% of the tribe's deaths came from KURU, mostly made up of women and children because they were the ones who predominantly ate the bodies, as the men believed that consumption of human flesh would weaken them. They were kind of right. KURU has a long incubation period of 5 to 20 years, although when it does hit, the patient usually dies from 3 months to 2 years later, and it's believed that the last person died of it in 2005. On the 12th of July 2012, 29 members of a cannibal cult were arrested in Papua New Guinea. They believed that they were practicing sorcery and had been extorting sex and money out of the local villagers. The police thought that between the cults there were 1,000 cultists, each of which had eaten long pig, or human. So I guess culture dies hard. Even if prions only seem to exist in people with these conditions, it's probably not best to find out if whoever you're eating has them. And if you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments. And
Don't forget, it's wrong to eat your children.